everybody. Welcome once again to the Main Event Comedy Podcast. I'm Gene Jackson, and I want to welcome in the rest of the crew. Of course, we got Mr. Delbert Jenkins, Shane Knowles, and last but sure as hell not least, Wes Sears. There he is, hiding with Sting mask lurking in the background, ominously watching over him. What's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Not much. How are you?
Sorry, I'm outside right now. My house is being fumigated for insects, so you guys are going to get a little taste of nature on the Sunday.
Okay, it's a flashback to the old Cheap Heat episodes when Shane Mako would do the episodes. Every week he would be outside and there was chickens running around and dogs barking and birds chirping. And
So now you live outside?
I never stopped, actually.
I thought we had a segment with Shane in the woods, so I was kind of excited. All right, never mind.
Knowles and nature.
Yeah.
when you're raised in a hut, getting close to a house is moving on up like the Jeffersons.
You're getting closer. Yeah.
I just wish it was my house.
Screw Ric Flair. Shane Knowles is the real nature boy right there.
Yeah, that's the real nature boy.
Living the gimmick, brother.
Fogging mouse.
So, anybody do anything interesting this weekend?
I took a shower.
You're wearing the same shirt as yesterday, bro.
Hey, whoa.
Hey, you wouldn't know that if he didn't cop to that.
I was going to say, you weren't there. How'd you know?
How'd you know, sir?
You literally said I'm wearing the same shirt I had on yesterday.
There's no proof. There's no proof.
Because you or someone who looked remotely like you was in Hazel Green, Alabama last night getting tossed around by folks. How did that go?
Beat up. I got thrown out of the Rumble by a girl.
Not just any girl.
No, it was Big Booty Judy. She manhandled me.
Well, I hear you're into that, so that's not a problem.
So for our listeners who may not know, who is Big Booty Judy, Delbert?
I'm not exactly sure. The girl that eliminated me last night from the Rocket City Rumble.
Delbert's like, I don't know. She really didn't tell me as she was hurling me over the top rope to the floor.
But
they call her Big Booty Judy because she's got nice hair.
That's right.
So, friend of the show, Cassio Kid, Matt Mitchell from Rocket 95.1 in Huntsville, also a part of adfreeshows.com, Conrad Thompson's crew. He hosts the Oh You Didn't Know podcast with Road Dogg. And his wife, I didn't realize she had been training to wrestle, but he all of a sudden sprung it on Facebook the other day that my wife will be debuting at Rocket City tonight. And she was in the Rumble, and it turns out she won the whole thing by eliminating our very own Delbert. Well, she didn't eliminate Delbert Jenkins. She eliminated Steve Pleasing, so that's not the same thing. Because Delbert Jenkins wouldn't be caught dead with his hair in pigtails and getting tossed around by a woman, unless he paid her for it. That's another story.
And I ain't got that kind of money.
But I was told that Delbert's like, yeah, I'm managed now because I can't be out there taking those bumps and getting thrown around. He's out there coming off the top rope. He's getting thrown out of battle rolls. Mike Jackson's head scissoring him around. He took more bumps last night than I took in the last 12 years of my wrestling career. So kudos, big guy.
It was crazy. I tried to sneak some knee pads on, and then one of the announcers called it out in the opening segment. He's like, Steve Pleasing has knee pads on. I was like, what are you doing, bro?
How do you think I got on the show, brother?
Well, I have an apology for Mr. Delbert because I think the last time we all met, I kind of mocked you for not being able to read and type. And as you can see, I tried to put oh yeah for the Macho Man. For some reason, my keyboard also put DX, and I just realized that when we were together.
I was
so
all the letters
it could have done.
I thought maybe
if Macho Man had been there in the Attitude Era, then suck
it.
I thought
I got 2 words for you.
I thought you were into ham radios.
Have you got down with it?
Wow, I'm picturing Macho Man in the black and green cowboy hat, the glasses, and that could have worked. I hate when he
I
gets.
think it
Could
works.
you imagine that?
What
Imagine if
about
Macho Man was there for the Montreal screw job.
Oh,
Now, would he have sided with Brett because he and Brett thought a lot of each other, or would he, member of DX, would he had to do what he had to do?
I'm picturing if Macho Man gave Vince's spiel on Raw the next night about Brett screwed Brett. Time honored tradition, yeah. I didn't screw Brett.
Shawn Michaels has got jealous eyes.
Lost
now?
his smile.
I just keep thinking about Macho Man trying to talk on ham radio now. CQ, CQ. Anybody get a copy?
So that's what everybody who asked me where Delbert Jenkins was last night, I told him he lost his smile. So the wrestling fans thought that was funny. The other people just looked at me confused. So,
Lost my smile.
so yeah, so we had a show last night at Happy Hour, our monthly, well, has been monthly. It's gonna take a break. We'll get to that. Um, we had a good crowd last night. We had a good show. As per the usual, we got thrown a couple of curveballs at us, and um, one was fine. The other was what it was. But
Well, who opened the show?
Yes. Who opened the show? Yes, let's go there. Absolutely.
so main event comedy, kind of has a wrestling theme to it, right? So I figured, if it's going to be a wrestling themed comedy show, then wrestling shows have a dark match, right? So we needed to have a dark match comedian. So we usually have him, dark matches sometimes happen before the show. Dark matches sometimes happen after the show. Usually he's doing the dark matches after the show. But a guy who initially referred to himself as Clark Kent, because he always shows up wearing a Superman shirt and glasses. Although his reference is kind of backwards because you never saw Clark Kent in the Superman costume because then he's Superman. He's not Clark Kent anymore. So if he's going to be Clark Kent, he should just wear a freaking suit. But anyway, he showed up, and of course, Flint said, let him on, because here's a little tip, folks. If you've ever really wanted to do comedy, just show the fuck up at Happy Hour Comedy Club anytime the doors are open, and you can go on stage. That is a fact. I don't give a fuck.
Well, that's how we're up there.
I mean, just show up and be like, hey, I wanted to go on stage. And then Flint will go tell whoever's running the show, like, hey, you got to put this guy on stage.
You could probably get on during your lunch break if you could get over there.
I mean, if he's open, you can get you a set in, get them reps. But he went on before the show, and quite frankly, I don't know how it went, because once I walked back to the curtain, I was getting stories of wrestling from a couple of the guys from out of town and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't think he killed, but I mean, it looked like the same amount of people were still there when I came back from when I introed him. So I don't think he walked anybody. So that was good, at least. Because they had been sitting, a lot of them folks had been sitting there for a while, because apparently there had been a miscommunication, even though all the flyers said 9 p.m. and the flyer that was attached to the Eventbrite event said 9 p.m. big as hell. Apparently it had been getting advertised as 8 p.m. and anybody that called, Flint had been telling them 8 p.m. And I found that out about 25 after 8. So I wondered why I got there like a little before 8 o'clock and there was a bunch of people in there. I was like, damn, that's all right. Like, we sure got here early, but it turns out most of them thought the show was already supposed to be happening. But,
I got there like 7:05, dude, and there was people, and I was like, is there like a birthday party going? You know what I mean? Like, and
now you got to move gimmicks, brother.
That happened before. There was a birthday party before a show, and they were all there at like 6 something. And he called, was like, "Hey, could you get here early?" And I'm like, "I'm still at work." No,
I just got a text from Flint, and it says, "Don't forget to plug next Friday night the Clark Kent show." So I guess he must have did well.
I'm not going to say Clark Kent's bad, but he is to stand up what Larry Flint is to standing up.
Like,
Delbert's like, I'm stealing that.
and honestly, I've seen him twice because I think the first show we did, he ended up, being a dark match after the show, and there's just some people that like us. I think, hey, we can do it. We may not be the best, but hey, we can hold our own. And then there's that.
Hey, speak for yourself. Shane Knowles is the fucking best. All right,
I swear to God, but
I'll go dragging him down to our level.
No, I know, right? But like, I was like, man, I felt so bad for him, And that's not even me taking shots at him. It's just
so the first time that guy showed up, we had a show that was just billed as an open mic show. That's the first show that Knowles came to, and so we kind of had an idea of who all was going up, and there was this guy sitting over by the wall over there through the whole show. And I was wrapping the show up, and they're like, hey, we got one more. And I was like, oh, okay, my bad. And he comes walking up, and he's got that Superman shirt on. I'm like, what's your name? And he's like, Clark Kent. I'm like, all right, guys, here's Clark Kent.
So he actually goes by Clark Kent.
He did. He did initially. So that time he was Clark Kent. He talked about how he had like mental things going on, and that his therapist had recommended he go do stand-up comedy as a form of therapy. Legit, I'm not making jokes right now. Like Delbert and Shane were there.
Yeah, but for real, how discount is your therapist when he's like, I don't know, man, just go do stand-up or something.
I mean,
go talk to random strangers instead of paying me $100 an hour.
I was gonna say, how screwed up are you that the guy's like, I'm getting paid to listen to this, and I don't even want to hear it. Go make people who are paying you have to listen to it.
Hey, look, man, I got Flint's number. His name's Flint. There you go.
It's like he'll let you up. I promise. You can go.
He wrote it out like a prescription.
I'm not a comedian. I've never done it for you. You don't have to. Just show.
He wrote it out like a script. He's like, I prescribe to you one open mic. Here you go.
5 minutes on stage.
Look, man, you're breathing. He'll like you. You're good. Just go.
So he goes up and does it do well. And then the next show, we advertised it as being a showcase with a open mic afterwards. So he shows up again, rocking the same Superman shirt. And I'm like, so Clark Kent, right? He's like, no, I'll go up under my real name. I was like, all right, what's your real name? He's like, Jason Newton. Okay. So I was like, here's Clark, Jason Newton. And so then last night, I was so mad. I got up there and I'm like, here's Jason. And I blanked out on his name. And then right as he got like a foot from me, I remembered it. And I go, Newton. I was like, see, I was just messing with him. So he'd think I didn't remember his name.
He should have been like Clark Newton.
I said, Clark Newton.
Kent Jason.
Jason Kent. Clark.
Yeah, at least Les owns another shirt, We give him grief.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm not convinced he has another one. Because
Wes is the man. He has shoes to match too.
I think next time.
First night
I'm gonna dress it.
I was like, I like your shoes. That's like all I.
Yeah, it wasn't even like, hey, it was, I like your shoes, and I was like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that.
That's the least awkward introduction Delbert's ever had with somebody.
You think if next show when he shows up, if I'm Green Lantern, you're Firestorm, you're the Flash, and you're Martian the Manhunter, if all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's the Just Us League with Superman.
We keep letting him go up, it'll eventually be just us because there won't be a freaking crowd.
Why don't they have any fat superheroes like the reporter? Like he just reports stuff that happens. They get you later.
Our man on the street.
We should swerve him and us all wear Superman shirts next time and be like, now what?
Bro, fuck that.
Oh, really?
We get a picture of him and we all wear shirts with him on it. Every one of us wear a t-shirt with that motherfucker on it.
That's an idea.
That's a good ass idea.
Well, he was as we were talking about this while we were waiting West a while ago. He was making cracks, so he just shows up. Like he's never scheduled. He's not on the show. He just shows up.
Is he in the back kicking it with y'all and shit?
But like, who was last night? They brought him to the back. They brought him to the back last night. He was actually in the back. I wasn't happy about that.
He was standing in the corner, but yeah, he was back there with his little notepad.
Yeah, he had a notepad and the whole bit this time. But
I had to get out of there, honestly, because I thought I was going to get stabbed. I started getting those kind of vibes.
Yeah. So, I mean, last night was a good show, but there were some things that really tweaked me pretty good. But anyway, I don't remember what I was going to say. But anyway, so yeah, that dude was there again. But
if he shows up in Mississippi, there's going to be a problem.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, no shit.
I'm going to be concerned with my life, yeah.
I know what I was going to say is Delbert pointed out that his last set he had done previously, he made a couple of snide remarks about not being on the bill or on the flyer. It's like, you're not on the show, dude. Like, you weren't booked. Like we're going to be like, that guy always shows up, so we better advertise him because he's going to put some butts in the fucking seats. If people are like, Clark Kent's coming, oh hell yeah, son!
That's Superman. I was sitting at the
Don't tell
DJ
nobody.
booth, and when he said that shit, I was thinking, we don't even know you, motherfucker. I was like, who the fuck?
Like, does he even have a phone? Like, does he have a face?
Oh, he just stepped out of a phone booth and did the big change.
So you got to know the number to that phone booth he hangs out in, I'm sure, or his therapist. And next time he's in there, like, hey, by the way, I know I told you to go do comedy. They want you there Saturday night.
Well, here's my question: does he show up at other nights at Happy Hour Comedy Club, or is it only when main events in the house? Right?
I would love to know that too. If like he's going up with Mr.
What?
So, hey, before Twimidine goes on, here's Clark Kent.
I can vouch.
There's only 17 people open for Twinidime.
Yeah, last weekend, I did that show. But he wasn't there, so.
Well, that's why nobody showed up.
Fucking Clark.
They didn't have the draw.
I bet if you ask him who's his therapist, and he'll say Lois Lane.
I hope so.
I'd
be real pissed. It's Lex Luthor.
What if it's like Bruce Wayne? I'm like, wait, hold on now.
I mean, I keep thinking that he's going to at least show up with a different superhero shirt on at some point.
Change up a little bit.
Are we rocking Batman this time? Or are we going to do
Are you going to go to Marvel? Like, you going to be Spider-Man? Daredevil?
There's a lot more.
You have to call me Hawkeye.
I feel like he's somehow seeing this right now. Like the next one, he's going to show up and be like, "Oh, you think I'm a fucking joke?"
Yeah, we're all laughing.
Call me the shooter.
Till he burns our homes down strategically at the same time.
I think he's actually Agent 47 from the Hitman series, but he's disguised as Clark Kent.
Cleverly disguised. You forgot to add cleverly disguised as Clark Kent.
Yes.
Then again, it's not so clever because again, Clark Kent doesn't rock his Superman shirt out in public.
No.
So I should have I'm gonna start introing him as Superman.
Super Clark.
Look up at the stage. It's a bird. It's a plane.
Should I introduce him next time? Like, you know who can really do some comedy? Clark Kent.
Hey, you're hosting next time. I'm putting that on you now.
It's been nice knowing y'all.
Clinton's put my poster. I need to get Superman his.
I think.
Yeah, well, I imagine somebody's getting an earful like after last night. Like, these motherfuckers disrespected me. They even put me on the fucking poster. I'm the reason everybody was there. They come to see Clark Kent, son. You think they care about?
They're not even wearing derby hats.
Or the other fat guy, or the other fat guy, or the little skinny guy. No, Clark Kent.
That's a fucking kid. I'm a Superman. I'm fucking Superman, motherfucker.
What if we show up to the next show and there's like an 8x10 of him hanging up by the bathroom?
What if we show up to his next therapy session? They told us we were so bad at comedy, we need to go seek therapy.
That'd be the first thing I say. I don't know why we can't get on the bill.
Why can't we get an appointment?
That's when you know you've made it at happy hour. When your picture's hanging in the bathroom, that's when.
And it hasn't been peed on.
You've done it. At my job, they don't have an Employee of the Month program, but I took it upon myself and took a picture of myself and framed it with an 8x10, and it says Employee of the Month, and there's like 7 or 8 of them in there, and then I hung them in the fucking office. And because we don't have an Employee of the Month program, I'm always the Employee of the Month, and about every fucking few weeks I have to go in there and take the first one out, and there's another one behind it because they draw dicks on my mouth and all kind of stuff.
Well, y'all talking about being on the bathroom wall.
You didn't even know I knew where you worked, did you?
Like, he used my picture by the exit. I'm pointing towards the exit, so I'm helping just the club. Hey, this is the exit. It's right here.
You're like, get out.
Out of here.
I think if I could figure out a way to get a picture of that dude, like I'm gonna just print one out and hang it in the bathroom, unbeknownst to Flynn or anyone else. I mean, and not the size of the other ones, but like abnormally large, like maybe even.
He should be the new logo for Main Event Comedy.
Bro, that's
what
be
we do. Show,
Look, the next time we see him, we're gonna take a picture of him. I'll get it framed and everything, and then the next time he shows up there, we present him with the framed thing, and we ask him to sign it.
What
name will he sign though? Will it be Clark Kent? Will it be Jason
Newsom?
Jason Newsted?
Or Superman? Or a persona we haven't met yet, because he may have multiple personalities as well.
Well, when Shane brought us all back up at the end, I saw him walking up. I was like, "Oh shit, he's still here!"
I turned around to Shane. I go, Clark Kent's on the fucking stage, dude. I had to turn my back. I was laughing,
and I was like this, like between Shane and somebody else, just like, "All right, I'm here. Yep, I'm here."
I started to just go hand him the mic and like, "It's yours, dude." But he would have ran with it. He would have like cut a promo for 8 minutes. And
oh shit, did he didn't say nothing at the little end spot?
He did say something. He answered one of the questions, something about being high or something. Obviously, but I'll say this for that guy: you knock him all you want, you question his comedic abilities, but
he got balls.
Has anybody on this screen ever had 4 guys spend 23 minutes of a podcast talking about any one of us?
Maybe. Shane might have.
Because he has now. So
it's just too much material, man. I mean,
bless his heart. And watch this motherfucker blow up like Kevin Hart, and then he makes fun of us.
That's my not so subtle way of saying we probably need to move on, because people are like listening to this. Right? Like, are we listening to these guys talk about somebody we don't fucking know for 20 minutes? Like, what are we doing? They've already shut.
Imagine having to listen to him.
I know. It's like, this is a little taste of what it would be like.
But if they come to Happy Hour Comedy Club.
All right, so let's bring on our first guest, Clark Kent. Clark,
swerve, y'all. He's here. All right, so we did promise on Facebook that we were going to have the Macho Man Randy Savage answer some questions, and we have been sent a couple of questions. I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but let's start with one and see how it goes. So if we can wrangle up the Macho Man here.
Present and accounted for.
Dear Macho Man, your mom and your wife have switched bodies. The only way to fix it is to fuck one of them. Would you rather fuck your wife in your mom's body or your mom in your wife's body? This comes from Sam from Winston County.
Sam, you got me a little freaked out right now, man. Freaked out, because I ain't done nothing like this since I was with Gorgeous George back in the day. And I do mean the former flamboyant male wrestler, not that one girlfriend I had out through here. But this is quite the situation. I think I'd like to be with my wife in my mother's body, because I can close my eyes. No jealous eyes here. Just thinking about my wife, Elizabeth.
I was so hoping you were going to work in the Elizabeth on which one of the movie ones you did last night. I was like, oh God, please tell me he puts the Elizabeth in there at the end. So, okay, real quick before we get to the next question, one of the funnier aspects to me of the fact that Macho Man had a valet named Gorgeous George, spelled George. I don't know how many people are aware of this, but the reason his valet's name was Gorgeous George and it was spelled that way is because they had bought that name to give to his brother, Lanny Poffo, who had bleached his hair blonde and was going to come to WCW using the gimmick Gorgeous George, but never made it there due to injury or disinterest from Eric Bischoff or whatever. So, like, well, we own this name. Let's just give it to this blonde chick that Randy's brought up. And that's how Gorgeous George was born in WCW. I may be the only one that finds that amusing, but I don't know. I mean, banging this chick at the end of the night with her having a gimmick that was intended for his weirdo brother, a little unnerving.
Well, when we didn't give the gimmick to Laney, I said, give it to her because that's genius.
Yeah, and you weren't gonna name some blonde chick genius, that's for sure. So had to go with Gorgeous George. All right, strap in, Mach, because this is it's kind of a long-winded question here, but we promise we would answer. Dear Macho Man,
that's me.
I am a 23-year-old female. My boyfriend is 24. We have been dating for over 3 years now. He lives with his family because it's close to where he goes to school, which ended up making me very close with his family over the years. They pretty much have adopted me as one of their own, and I've seen them 3 or 4 more times a week. I recently found out he downloaded a dating app, hooked up and or exchanged nudes with girls over. God damn, their typing leaves a lot to be desired. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm that illiterate. It's just whoever typed it. Not calling any names.
Struggling with the pronunciations here.
And or exchange nudes with girls over a period of a week and a half where he had vacation from work and traveled to. Now I'm correcting as I go. And traveled to Florida with friends. I really like the family, and I think it would be awkward to just break up with him and say nothing to them because I know they would ask questions and he would lie about it, likely even say I cheated on him. At the same time, I don't know if I should approach his mom or sisters about it. If so, what would be the best way of doing it? I kind of want them all to know the reason why I'm leaving him, but I know he would have me as the bad guy. I don't want it to seem like I have no respect or appreciation for all the family has done for me over the years. What should I do? Lily from Coleman. I don't
First of all, Lily,
remember the first part at this point, but
man, Lily, you are more full of hot air than that chump Hulk Hogan. You got to shorten it down a little bit. Like, I understand why nudes are being exchanged because you just don't shut the fuck up sometimes. You got to shorten that shit down, honey. You got to keep your man satisfied. Because a man that's satisfied ain't taking pictures of his dick and sending them to random strangers. It starts at home. And you got to let him give you that bone.
Yeah, I've been fucking.
Good answer, Randy. Now, I got to ask, there's one more, I dare say, question, but holy shit, if you thought the last one was long, this one's in fucking chapters. I mean, we might have to take a break in the middle of this one. Do you want me to read this one, or do you want to save this for next time? It's totally up to you, Mach.
You know what? No more questions. Let's save a little something for down the road.
Thank Jesus. All right. There you go.
And Lily, if it don't work out, call me.
First name Macho, last name Man.
I was waiting on the
names on the boots.
Applebee's advertisement. During
Do what?
that question. I was waiting on like an Applebee's advertisement to go by the screen during that question.
It needed something. Holy cow. I mean,
there's some color, man.
As you can see, I didn't pre-read any of these. I wish I had. God damn. Producer Smokey, my cat has always done these podcasts over the years. He's got to get better at typing. It's that not having a thumb thing that really throws it off.
Those fucking cats are amazing, but when it comes to typing,
yeah, they're the shits at typing. All right, so not to do a Cody Rhodes impression here, but what do y'all want to talk about?
I was going to expound more on last night. I know we've ripped on Superman for fun here for a little bit, but I thought as lull as he was, everyone I thought did a really good job of getting the crowd back. They really didn't seem like they were tired and ready to go. Somebody they were having at least because like I got on there last and I was like, I know there've been a lot of people and these people were still engaged. So that was a kudos to all you guys instead of them sitting like this, like when's this shit going to be over? They were still receptive, still hungry and ready to laugh. So I thought it flowed well after the dark match.
It did because after between each, I didn't do any material in between. I did my 10 minutes or so up front, and then I just brought people up rapid fire. And every couple people, I'd be like, "Hey, we're having a good time. We're still having fun." And they were very enthusiastic. Like you said, even a good show. After you get several comedians in, people get a little sluggish and like, okay, it's just too much of a good thing. But no, like you say, they kept the enthusiasm up through the whole thing. Um, I was really proud of the previous show and this show as well, because I kind of thought like, well, the last show went so well. Um, we're probably due for us to eat shit tonight. We're probably not going to have a crowd. Our rhythm's probably going to be off, and then when you start getting curveballs, the people getting thrown in. But man, when 9 o'clock hit, we had a full room, and then more people came in around 10 that came to see you from Georgia, Shane, and they stayed up and enthusiastic. And I mean, the other guy that we added to the lineup, he did a good job. He was funny. So, and then Jim, who it was his first time on stage, he had some people that came out to see him. He did well. He had a good time. Everybody after it was over with was saying, that they hope we bring them back. And, Bobby Slam and Alex Sexton, who came down from Tennessee, uh, they both did great and seemed to have a really good time. And, so that's the good thing about it is, after the fact, everybody is enjoying themselves and wanting to come do it again. And that's not, as you guys know, that's not always the case, be it in comedy or wrestling or any of these types of endeavors. So I take a lot of pride in that, and I think everybody in the group should, because it's, speaks volumes for everybody.
And I thought it was a good show. I think, and I think Shane will agree. Excuse me. You did a fantastic job lining up the set and getting all right, this person, this person. I think it was fantastic. And even me and Shane were talking after his set that he absolutely destroyed for the first time. Him closing did a fantastic job. Like I told him, I felt like me going and then him. It was like a little like 1-2 punch, and. Dude, it was so good, man. You did. It's kudos to you. I mean, you put in the work, and you put in, like I said, I think from the dark match, and had Jim go between me and Dave.
Yeah, and
perfect.
We talked about it on the last one. It's not just a whim. Like as things changed, I would look at the lineup and kind of think about what I knew about everybody, because I didn't know the other two guys real well, but I was seen enough of their stuff to kind of have an idea. And so, laid it out and timed it out. And that's the only reason that I get, agitated when I get a curveball thrown at me. Like, look, I've got this worked out, ideally. And that's why I was like, this dude's either going on before the show or he's not going on. Like, this is a hill I'm willing to die on tonight. He's either going to go on before or he ain't fucking doing it until well after we're done. He can come up in the middle of karaoke, because, like, I can't get, I mean, bless Flint. He lets us do our shows there, and I'm very appreciative of it. But I think, and if anybody on the screen right now feels differently, please tell me. But I feel like how the show ends is very important. He's always like, everybody that shows up, he's like, throw them on the end, throw them on the end. I'm like, no. We can work them in the middle or the very beginning or whatever. But like, anything you go to, whether it is a comedy show, a movie, a concert, wrestling, you name it, you walk out of there remembering the last thing you saw. So if you put just some random person up there and the last thing they remember is like ending on a down note, that's what they're going to remember. And that's why I was kind of skittish at first about bringing everybody up and just trying this shit at the end. But so far, it's worked pretty well every time. The people seem to enjoy it, and usually some funny things manage to happen in the course of it. So
I have maybe a recommendation to try for next time because we don't seem to get a lot of audience participation on the questions, which shocks me. I thought we would get like some random bizarro, what's your favorite
Yeah.
food to eat when you're drunk kind of deal. But what if everyone, whoever closes, starts it off and you almost do it like theater where a person comes in, grabs the mic, hits a one liner, a piece of advice, goes off, followed by suit by everyone. And then that way the audience maybe doesn't feel like, oh, we don't have anything to ask, we're shitty, whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely think we need to try something different. When there was just 4 or 5 of us up there, there was a little more interplay, and I don't know. It seemed to work the first time we did it, and it worked pretty decent the second time because there was more drunk people in the crowd, and there was a little more questions, a little more back and forth. But last night
Mhm.
was a little more awkward because, like you said, the crowd wasn't really asking much, and then you had what was it, 7 of us up there, 8, however many people were on the stage, and so it was just kind of all over the place. So yeah, I'm more than willing to
Would that
try
work for
that.
y'all? What do you think? Like everybody comes up, gets the stage to themselves, hits one piece of advice or one liner or parting shots, so to speak, curtain call and head out. The next person does it.
I mean, because
I'm
it could be, it's been maybe like, what's the one thing you want to leave everybody to leave here with from you tonight? And this way, I mean, we're saying it here, however far out, because it's going to be a while before we can go back there uh, for our show. But yeah, and that way you got to, if you want to think of something really profound that you can throw out there, or something funny, or you just want to wing it off the top of your head, because I'm sure that's probably what I'll end up doing, because I don't ever fucking plan shit or put in the work. But I think that's great. And then, something somebody says may spark the audience to interact, and then it may spin into something else. But at least it's quick. If not, we're not all just standing up there with our dick in our hand going like, somebody ask something, please. We feel like a
make me
bunch of
Well,
feel
assholes
important.
here.
if I knew the audience would do it, I would love to do like scenes from a hat from Who's Line when
Oh
they
my
get there.
God,
Maybe have a little
yes.
card and write down worst songs to sing in prison. And we read it over the mic. Everybody comes in, does one, heads out, and then that way they don't have to ask stuff, but we have a little pre-topic to go off of.
Well, we could cheat and put a few
Good
things in a
luck.
hat
Yeah.
and then tell them to add to it. And then
Sure.
if they add to it and we draw it out, great. And if they don't
There we
notice,
go.
somebody else just put it in there.
And I think it would
Just
be great if
don't let
we didn't
Steve
know
do
what
it
the
because
other one put.
the scenes will be fucked. Prison rape at church or something.
What racial slurs not to say on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah, what racial slur should I not say right now?
Steve would have loved Alex. So Alex Sexton, Steve, is a black guy. He's not from Tennessee. He's from like the state line, Alabama, close to Tennessee.
Yeah.
But he rides down with Bobby. So he's a young black dude who was wearing a fluorescent colored Lilo and Stitch T-shirt and a pink hat. But he talks more country than my exaggerated Whitey Jenkins voice ever did, and says a lot of questionably racial stuff. I was like, boy, if Delbert was here, these two would have quite the time. And Bobby ended it with, Alex is the only black man he knows that wishes he was hung, which works on a couple different levels if you think about it. And he had said earlier behind the curtain he wanted to say that, but he didn't know how to go over. I was like, you can do it here. It's usually not like a big.
Fuck it, bro. Just let it rip.
This is happy hour, man. You fucking do it.
Do it at a happy hour. It don't matter. But yes, I think we may try. We may try the one line thing. We may try the scenes from a hat thing because I want to keep it fresh. Because
Yeah.
my goal, like I was talking to one or both of you about last night in between comics, is I want us to start getting because almost every time when I go out there and ask how many people's your first time, it's almost at least 80%, if not 90%, new people every time, which is on one level is cool. But at the same time, I want to start getting some repeat people back in there. And if that's going to be the case, it needs to be. That's why I want to rotate hosts. I want to do end the show in a different way, open the show in a different way. We talked about this outside one night. I think one of the first shows we did. I still at some point would like to do a roast. I don't know. It's just figuring out who the subject would be. I mean, I know like Stand Up Live is done where they've had like the roast of like some fictional character at some point and have a bunch of different comedians come and roast. And I almost feel like it might have to be something like that because I don't know who we would get that would draw. So it'd have to be some one that everybody knows. It could be the roast of Macho Man Randy Savage, though. Could be
I
an
mean, I would
option.
dress up,
So that's an option because whether you're a wrestling fan or not, especially if you're of a certain age, you know the Macho Man. Like he's a pop culture icon. So that's a strong possibility.
What
But
if
we
I mean,
would just need.
we could also do main event comedy roast each other, which I know it's just four of us. If we had like one or two more, it'd be perfect. None of us know the other set about
Yeah.
each individual.
Well, that's what that turns into. The whoever Macho Man or whoever. That's the draw. But ultimately, you're roasting each other more than you're roasting the whoever the
Yeah.
victim is or whatever guest of honor or whatever.
that?
Oh, it's
But
victim.
yeah, we definitely need to do that. And yeah, we would definitely need to make sure we had people there that we know aren't going to go up there and just be like, I don't know, man, I'll suck at roasting. Like it would take some preparation, is what I'm saying. Not just let everybody wing it. I have faith in the four of us, but we would need a couple people that their sense of humor would lend itself to that sort of thing, and they're not just going to go do a bunch of fucking Comedy Central roast jokes they stole by watching YouTube.
What if we all do our sets, and to set us apart after our sets, we all do like a 1 or 2 minute interpretive dance?
He's got a point.
Does he?
Does
he really?
Thanks, Wes.
No, I'm down to try anything, especially.
I feel like on the scenes. I feel like on the scenes from a hat, Delbert would probably come up with something if it was like things you could say in the bedroom and at Thanksgiving, and he would be like, "Grandma, it's so tasty."
And tight.
Oh yeah, you would know immediately. Everyone he wrote and put in there, as soon as he got said, you'd be like, "Okay, that's a Delbert one."
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It would definitely give itself away pretty.
We could. What if we did something like that, where we all wrote something like a little saying, just something stupid, and then we pulled it out of a hat, and then we asked the crowd which one of us said that shit.
That could be interesting.
Anything for audience participation. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not the same as trying to come up with a question. That's just you answering.
Yeah.
As a
Well, because that's kind of along the lines. Like last night, I asked who on the stage right now do you think is not high. Because you're basing that on everything you figured out about the people throughout the night. So, based on people's sets and what you learned about them, reading a quote, you try to pick out who said it. It's pretty good.
And I was going to ask you guys if you'd be up for it, because it could just be the four of us. Tell me what you think. If you watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? Or I actually like going to live improv around Atlanta. If we did an improv night where we don't have to do sets of 10 to 15 minutes prepared material, but we have the games, we have the four of us, stuff that we have prepped as far as game, then the audience too, and it's an improv night and then nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows the the material. And if you do have repeat customers, they would see something different.
That sounds scary as hell. And being from wrestling, I feel like we should work it.
Well, to keep you sharp, on your toes.
You're right.
Being from wrestling, you should be better prepared than anybody to riff off of what's being, said and done. But unless you're one of these call it in the back sissies.
When they told me last night I was going in the Rumble, my next thing I said was, how long do I have to be out there?
You're doing the old Ric Flair. You're coming in at 3 and you're not winning it, but you're staying until the end at least. I love how Delbert shows up and gets told he's going to be in the Rumble. I'll be like, Gene, you're going to be in the Rumble tonight. The fuck I am.
No,
I told you I would manage.
I told him before I would do a Rumble spot, but I also told him I wanted to walk straight out, get in the ring, and go straight the fuck back out.
You want to do the Bush?
Oh my god! Big Santino Booty Judy eliminates Rudy.
By God!
Stop the damn match.
That man has a fat. No, he don't. Never mind.
Broken in half.
That man's got knee pads.
Wait a minute.
Damn you to hell. Damn you.
So
Oh,
I
I want
went
to ask you,
there.
Gene.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
go
you, but
ahead.
I found something out last night that Gene told me. So Cassio Kid, the aforementioned, who used to work for Rick and Bubba for about 4 or 5 years as an intern doing skits and whatnot. Now he does comedy, and Gene has been fortunate enough to meet him and do some stuff around stand up live. He told me that his real name is Matt Mitchell. And I'm like, oh, Matt Mitchell, the ostrich guy that does all the SEC football roll call and all the little Debbie. And he's like, no, that's a different Matt Mitchell who also does comedy. Dude, I almost couldn't go on stage because my mind was fucking blown that there are two guys with that name that do comedy around the state of Alabama. I mean, Joseph Smith, maybe. Two Matt
Yeah.
Mitchells that are heavy set guys.
Do you think if they're ever in the same spot, they have to fight on principle,
So
like
funny
Highlander?
story about that. I told you I had a story about that. Then we were busy the rest of the night. So
Mhm.
when I did that show with Cassio back in December, um, me and him were the first two to walk in the green room, and there was a big envelope on the table, and it says to Matt Mitchell. And I guess they had dropped it off at the club, and then they just took it in there and set it on the table. And so he's like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." I'm like, "Well, the only way to find out, open it up." So he opens it up, and it says to Matt Mitchell of the Ostrich, and there's a letter in there, and it's got a flyer, and he's like, "Hey, Matt, I don't know if you remember this, but me and my son met you at the cupcake event in Madison back in January, and we were it had some kind of name. It was like Cupcake Rally or something like that." And he's like, we were hoping to book you for our event in April because again, this was back in December. And it's like we was hoping we could book you for the event in April, and it pays like 2 grand or something. And well, so he reads the whole thing, and I'm thinking the first thing he's gonna say is like 2 grand. He's like, "What the fuck's a cupcake rally? And how the hell have me and you not been invited?" I'm like, "Yeah, no shit, dude. Like, if there's anything involving cupcakes, we should be there." He's like, "This is so funny. Like, this guy thinks I'm the fucking ostrich Matt Mitchell." I'm like, "This has to happen a lot." He's like, "Oh, dude, you have no fucking idea." He's like, "I hate that guy because people constantly." So he ended up taking that letter and reading it on stage as part of his set that night. Like I mentioned, they did the cupcake joke and all that. But I had wondered about that, if that was ever a problem. He's like, "Oh, it's constantly a problem." Like everybody gets that confused. So
So you're saying if we show up at the Cupcake Festival and take that Matt Mitchell out, we'll be the Cupcake champion.
that's right, and we can take home the 2 grand.
Cupcake champion.
Cupcake champions, brother. So, excuse me. So I made reference earlier. Usually we do have a show at happy hour the third Saturday of every month. However, our friend, the owner of happy hour, uh, does not do well with keeping track of dates, writing things on calendars, or paying attention a lot of the time. So he has booked Bag Lady Sue, uh, which is a character comedian, um, for the weekend of June 16th and 17th.
It's a 90-minute
Uh,
show.
yes, always a big draw. Supposedly, I don't know. I've never been, except for last year because it was during like Talladega race weekend or some such. So I had a couple people lined up to come in and work with us. I've pushed them off to July. I actually meant to mention this before we were recording, so we're just going to throw this out here while we're on the air. And if anybody has any issues, we'll sort it out either on the air or off the air. But so, so uh, initially, Flint. So I realize I'm walking down the hallway, and Flint's showing some people around the club. And I hear him tell them, "Hey, you need to come back and see Bag Lady Sue on June 16th and 17th." I immediately stop in my tracks, turn around, and go, "June 17th is the third Saturday of June." And he gets this panic look on his face, and he's like, "Oh, shit." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, do y'all want to do Sunday?" And I mean, there's people standing there. We're in the hallway. I should have been a little more tactful. I'm like, no, fuck that. We're not doing a Sunday. He's like, why not? I was like, because it won't draw. He's like, well, we'll come up with something. So I turn around and go on in the dressing room. So then he comes in. So what we've decided, Delbert needs to be there on Friday night because he needs to go back to Rocket City and get thrown around by women and old men on the third Saturday in June. So how does everyone feel if Delbert and Shane do Friday night and me and Wes do Saturday night? Is that agreeable to everyone? You good with that,
Works
Wes?
for me.
Yeah, that's good with me.
All right, so it's official.
Yeah, I think that helps me better, my situation and stuff.
That's Friday the 16th.
Friday, June the 16th, you can see Bag Lady Sue with Delbert Jenkins and Shane Knowles opening. Or
Cupcake champions.
Or if you want to see a better show, you can come on Saturday night and me and Wes Sears.
Damn right.
Or I mean, come both nights, and then you can let us know which night you thought was better, and then we'll have bragging rights on the next edition of the podcast or the one following that. It won't be the next one. You get what I'm saying?
So it's these two squares against these two squares.
Exactly.
What if Shane and I decide to hit on y'all's night?
You're gonna do a run in?
Yeah,
Invasion angle.
Just call us Superman Dos.
I thought you were going to say, what if me and Shane decide to split off and form our own group?
What if we hide in the crowd in disguises and pelt cupcakes at you?
Come in like the outsiders through the crowd. Power bomb.
It could be curtain jerker comedy versus main event comedy.
That's right. Just remember, we're the main event, brother.
What if you're on stage?
Speaking of who the main event is, all right? Let's talk about real quick what else we got coming up. We got that happening in June, and then we'll return to our regularly scheduled programming in July. July the 15th, we'll be back there, and we'll announce who a couple of friends are that's going to be joining us. But the next up, we're going to be in Amory, Mississippi for the Rib Shack stand-up competition. Right there, you see, you got all the competitors listed, featuring Wes Sears.
So you got me and Delbert together already as a tag team. June 16th, what's that for?
What about that, Wes? How's that?
I'm dead. That's fucking.
We want to make sure it would draw, so we have.
It's not big enough.
Prominently featured. Well, yeah, we need to get a bigger picture of you, and maybe put you in front of the words. Next time. But
I don't even know why you put his name. That picture says it all. I know who that is.
Producer Smokey threw that together at the last minute because he heard that you've been
beautiful.
Very upset about flyer situations lately. So we got this one thrown together. But we'll get one where you're a little more prominently featured. And I've also already sent a text to now that we've got it settled which night it's going to be. So Friday night it will be Bag Lady Sue featuring Delbert Jenkins and Shane Knowles. On Saturday night, it'll be Wes Sears featuring Bag Lady Sue and the Fat Guy. So,
I'm going.
That's okay.
When it goes 90 minutes, I'm gonna go a full.
Yeah, you're going 90 minutes. She's going 5, and I'm not even doing any time. I'm just gonna go up and be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the star of main event comedy, your favorite comedian and mine, Wes Sears."
And I'm gonna be wearing this shirt.
There'll be probably a 6-7 minute ovation, I'm sure.
Yeah. Roses will be thrown.
Clark Kent will show up. Clark Kent will show up. Flynn will be like, "Hey, y'all got to let him go up after Bag Lady. He's going to close the show out tonight."
Well, we are the Four Horsemen of Comedy, so Delbert and I will be the Minnesota Wrecking Crew on Friday evening.
You guys are Arn and Ole.
We'll be opening our show by announcing Wes Sears and then giving a count out and then saying how he was too coward to show up.
Hurt my reputation,
if y'all are Arn and Ole, then I guess that makes me and Wes Rick and Tully. So I guess I got to be Tully because obviously he's Rick.
No, y'all are Scott Norton and Buff Bagwell.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Vicious and delicious.
How dare you? Well, clearly I'm vicious because I'm delicious. So.
No, you're buff, clearly.
I've not done near enough drugs to be But, ooh, not bad. All right. Well, we're winding this one down. Has anybody got anything else to put out there before we wrap this one up?
Thanks for if you guys came last night, we really appreciate it. You guys were a great crowd, and I hope you'll join us coming up down the road.
Yeah, I think our shows are getting better each time too, and that's not because of just us, but the support we keep getting. So,
And not just because Delbert wasn't there last night. I mean, that
yeah,
helped, but
yeah,
it,
just a tad. But
Yeah, trust me. I'm like, yeah, I'll do June 16th.
Knowles is like, could we all three do Saturday and just let Delbert have Friday? Delbert's like, I don't go on unless Jimmy Cicero comes. We're a package deal, brother.
Hell yeah.
And Mike Jackson's going to come on stage and give me a head scissors off the stage to close the fucking show.
We did all the classic Mike Jackson spots.
Here's the deal, boy. You'll give me an atomic drop. I'll hit the turnbuckle, come back, give me that Russian leg sweep.
We did the, of course, he hooks Cicero into a headlock. And of course, that pisses me off. So I jump in the ring and come running at him. And then he leaps up. Now here I am stuck. He head scissors both of us. And then I powder to the outside. He humiliated us, really.
All right, wait a minute. Let's cut through all the bullshit. We've talked about head scissors, and I'm sure he walked around the ropes while y'all held his fucking hand like a little old lady. We talked about a chick throwing you out of the battle roll, and you coming off the top rope.
Don't start shitting on MJ. You
let's talk about the most important thing, because I saw the size of that crowd. How much did he take in on the raffle? That's what we need to know.
Oh, I don't even know. I forgot to ask.
Yeah,
I bet he took something. He probably
took
something in.
Did they sell a lot of his trading card that was available for the first time?
He's got trading cards?
Yes, he does.
I saw a picture.
Mike Jackson trading cards, which is a picture of him in 1983.
Mike didn't know he had trading cards till he got there last night.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, they still had bubble gum in them when this picture was taken. Not when the card was made, but when the picture was taken.
He embarrassed.
I used to take that gum out and sell them to the kids for $10 a piece.
He embarrassed Johnny Swinger on Impact TV.
Well, I would have been embarrassed to wrestle Mike Jackson on Impact TV if I got to stand there and hold his hand while he walks all the way around the top rope, and I just got to stand there like an asshole and wait to be arm dragged.
I wouldn't want to wrestle him. He's that dude can go. He's old, but he can go. I told Cicero when we got there, I was like, this dude's about to fuck us up, bro. You don't even know. I know this dude.
Cicero's like, dude, I'm 55 and I'm still 27 years younger than this guy. We got this.
And I was like, you don't understand. I've seen kids go outside and throw up after wrestling him.
Well,
when Mike got done with his first match, he went down to the drugstore and picked up a newspaper that had the headline, Dewey defeats Truman.
I asked him last night.
The most important thing is he retained the World Heavyweight Championship of Hazel Green, Alabama.
Hey, but I asked him last night. I said, Mike, what's your social? And he said 4.
Yeah, he's like, woo. I like the Horseman too. He's like, no, that's the number. That's his driver's license. He pulled out a rock.
He saw Passion of the Christ live. Like,
now y'all got me shitting on MJ, you motherfuckers.
You know, last night was the rematch from when him and Cicero opened for David and Goliath back in the day. They were on the undercard.
God damn it.
He's got an autographed copy of the Bible.
Good.
Oh shit! We wasn't recording when I told that first Mike Jackson story. Was
not with. Okay, all right. We are out of time, folks. We'll see you next time here on Main Event Comedy, where I promise you, Delbert will have another exciting story about action. Mike Jackson.
He's the best.
He's definitely the oldest.
And we'll make sure Macho Man gets those 20-minute questions. So
yeah, please, folks. I'm begging you.
Good Lord.
If you send in a question for the Macho Man, 3 sentences tops, and it is 2023, use a goddamn spell checker and check the grammar. I almost had an aneurysm trying to read that
For
thing.
God's sakes,
Christ
don't
sakes.
use speech to text because it pisses Gene off.
It was terrible. It was terrible. It was like I felt like I was in one of those literacy commercials when I was a kid. They had the little kid going, the black dog is